Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida, and this 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap. That is down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes. Michael Harris taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Howdy, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you're planning a tailgate party at the game, cheering for your favorite teams at home, or at your local Baumhauers with your family and friends, we're here to make your football party legendary with our party-ready tray selections. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to the homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course, our fresh, never frozen, award-winning buffalo-style chicken wings. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
I'm here with Vice President of Mortgage from Bank of Frank Ewing, John Kendall. And John, if you're hearing this commercial right now and you're thinking of getting a new house, boy, oh boy, do you guys have a deal.
We do. It's a grant. $25,000 if you're a veteran, $20,000 if you're not a veteran. This can be used for closing costs, down payments.
Very simple. All you have to do is give Bank of Frank Ewing a call at
256-507-9180.
And how long does this process take?
Oh, it'll take just a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes on the phone. We'll send you a link and you fill that out in your own time. We'll approve you.
Who would not want $25,000 for a new house? John Kendall, give them the phone number and online address one more time.
256-507-9180 or at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing giving you $25,000 for a new house. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDIC insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
But that never worked.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Well, this is pretty cool right here. No West neighbors. How many people does it take to fill in for the big guy? Well, we've got Drew DeArmond back in studio. We've got Scott Tyson sitting right next to me. Scott and I are inside Allen Arena.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I have a third credential right here in my hand. It says Drew DeArmond. Drew is back in the studios after his lovely little adventure to Tuscaloosa. He got to see the Crimson Tide baseball team put up some pinball numbers, and the basketball team. Drew, you could have left at halftime. That game was over at halftime last night.
That's not what I do, man. I don't leave at halftime. I make it home at 3 a.m. and I still do my radio show.
3 a.m. 3
See,
a.m.
you missed probably one of the best side dishes for lunch of all time.
Well, I knew we would have a report. So I mean, let's have it. What?
So we went on a recommendation of Lenny Acuff.
That's right.
We went to a barbecue place right up the street here. And by the way, the homes surrounding the campus.
They're $1 million homes, brother. I've been through there.
Try $3.5 million homes around this joint.
Yeah. And so
$700 a square foot is what we were told.
We had a barbecue, but one of the sides we had, there's multiple sides, but one of it was a grits casserole.
I'm telling you, the grit casserole.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, Drew.
I would have a grit casserole.
Oh, yeah. It had Gouda cheese in it with sausage.
Like some Gouda and some sausage.
There was that spicy sausage.
It had spicy sausage, Gouda cheese, onions in it, and a little bit. Oh, my gosh.
You went brisket plate. I went brisket sandwich.
Nice.
And my other side was banana pudding.
That's what I had too.
Yeah. Well, Steve loves some banana pudding. We know that.
Oh, was it like somebody's banana pudding?
I will say I do have one thing advantage over both of you guys that I've been to Allen Arena. I've been inside it twice. So I've been to team camp the last 2 summers.
I've been here once. This is my second go around.
Lenny Acuff, the head coach here, gave us the VIP treatment and showed us everywhere in this building. And
the old great place as well, right across the way where they won a national championship.
Don Meyer.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And really that court there that he showed us was the court that he won his national championship on in 1986 in the NAIA level.
Oh, trust me, we had the poster in Coach Val's office, the Don Meyer camps that were world famous, and the 1986 national champions. Oh, yeah.
Didn't Lenny tell us they had like 750? He said something about like this. The way that the camps were so famous here.
Oh, they were.
They
were unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, I'm totally. And I hate that I missed, but I mean, again, I got home at 2:45 a.m. Didn't get to bed till 3. It was rough.
Was it just bad traffic? Why so late?
Because first of all, the baseball game was 3 hours and 45 minutes. I was hardcore.
Okay.
I stayed to the very last out, and then Roger Myers and I speed walked all the way to Coleman Coliseum, and then we got through with post game at about a little after 11:30.
11 o'clock. Yeah.
Then you got to 11:30, and so. Then we had to walk back to the car.
Still doesn't add up to 3:30 in the morning here.
No, it does. It does when you get back to your car at midnight, and then you drive straight through, and then you're getting gas at 1 a.m., and then you grab a little bite, and then you get home at 2:30, and then you unpack, you get everything, get ready for the next morning. It's 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock.
See, you could have slept. You could have slept from the time we left the studio.
I would have only
time we got
slept for
to
30
Nashville.
minutes because it would have only taken 30 minutes for Steve to drive to Nashville.
And there was quarters in the locker room here that you could have easily bunked in and just.
Yep. I didn't know that part. I didn't get that VIP treatment when I went to team camp. Okay,
now I know what we're talking about.
And then you know what they say? They used to say this on G.I. Joe when I was a kid, and knowing it's half the battle. So now you know.
Now you know. Same telling you.
Yeah.
So we're actually walking you up to tip off between the Central Arkansas Bears taking on the Lipscomb Bison, and it's a rather big game.
Oh, it
for
is.
Lipscomb.
There's no question. We talked to John Schulman this morning, and his team's going to be ready, but we know what Lenny and Acuff and the Bison have at stake.
Let me just go ahead and give you a heads up. We saw both teams go through walkthroughs today.
Yes.
One looks a tad different from the other.
Well, the other one has no starters left nearly. I mean, he told us the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And,
I mean,
they're a walking mash unit.
I mean, and then he banned me from Allen Arena anyways. I got banned from Allen Arena already.
Well, you have a credential. He
I
didn't
know.
ban you from Hannah Joe. Hannah Joe hooked you up with a credential.
Thank you, Hannah Joe. I
She
appreciate
hooked us
that.
up here too.
Yep, that's right.
One of these
By the way,
days.
the point spread for tonight's game between Lipscomb and Central Arkansas. And I asked Scott right before we went on the air, and he said,
what did I say? 13, 14? Yeah,
you
probably
said
right
13
around
and a
there.
half. Where are you going to go? Well, where are you going to go, Drew?
Me?
What do you think Vegas has set the number at?
Man, I'm gonna go 11.
19 and a half is the number for the Lipscomb Bison
Well,
tonight.
I mean, I will
over
say,
the
John Schulman
Bears.
and Scott can verify this. He said they played well against UNA and lost by 23.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
But then he went on to tell us that, 130 player games.
130 starts.
130 starts is what they're collectively missing.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot.
Well,
and that your starting point guard is a walk-on.
Yeah, and his big man's playing so well. His big man's playing so well. He's worried about losing him in the portal.
No, they are. Look, both teams are.
Oh, trust me.
Both
The portal
coaches
is
are
very
worried.
real in the A-Sun.
Yes, both coaches, Drew, are very worried about losing players. They specifically identified certain players on their roster.
Even the big guy that got hurt here for Lipscomb. Nervous about.
Yes, he was very excited. Coach Acuff last week said he was probably the best big or one of the two best in the entire A-Sun before he went down.
Yeah. So
Schulman's worried about losing their freshman.
Yep.
That all those
not even
points
ready,
that
he
hasn't
said,
played.
but he's been playing well lately.
By the way, UNA is a 7.5 point favorite tonight at home over at Flowers Hall, taking on Queens.
And Queens got the best of UNA when they went to Charlotte.
Okay.
Earlier in the season, it was a bad. It's a tough loss for UNA on the road. That was one that got away from them when they went to Charlotte and faced Queens the first time. So
it's really weird to see flags of this conference off to my left and seeing West Georgia, UNA, Florida Gulf Coast, Bellarmine. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of familiar foes from Division II back in the day.
Are you thinking you're like in an alternate dimension or something right now, Steve?
A little bit.
Or maybe they move the conference tournament to Allen Arena.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. This is a nice venue.
Oh, it is very nice. And hey, you know what this just is? This was just God, reaching out. The first game I cover at Lipscomb will have to be when Riggs is playing.
Well, let me tell you, we did talk about your boy and how much he impressed us in a big way there in the Huntsville Hoover game and what he did in that game.
He was the best player on the court. Not the Vol.
And I just kind of casually said, well, I hope he starts for you. And I got the look of, he's starting. I mean, but at least Lenny has very high expectations for when JD got.
I told JD and his family about this broadcast y'all were doing. I don't know if the family made the trip tonight, but I did tell them you guys, because of course Huntsville was hoping to be, going to Birmingham and playing tomorrow.
I was hoping you wouldn't be here for another reason.
Yeah, but I was hoping that too. But I did tell JD about that, and I'll just say this: if you ask JD, you'll get a very direct answer about what he expects to do. So he's that's why we call him Riggs, man. He's with his mindset, and I think he's gonna make a big impact for Lenny. And as Lenny always loves to say, he affects winning, and he does, and he'll do that for the Lipscomb Bison.
Dr. Cade Smith is going to hop on with us here a little bit later on here in this first hour, and then hour number 2, you will obviously hear from Lenny Acuff as well as John Schulman. But Drew, since you're with us, let's dive into a little bit of what you saw to the Crimson Tide. That, to me, that was as strong a defensive performance as I've seen out of Alabama. What was your takeaways and what you saw out of Nate Oates' squad last night?
Well, yeah, I thought the defensive energy was good. They got off to actually a slow start offensively. I know that sounds crazy because they shot 22 of 45 from three, but it was 6-5 at the 16-minute mark in the first media timeout. So it wasn't exactly a torch in the net start. But Nate Oates did point out it was the first time they've led at the first media timeout since Arkansas. So
really,
they'll take a 6-5 lead, and then they got going. And Scott and I had Robbie Falk on from on3sports.com, Maroon and White Daily, covers Mississippi State extensively. And he gave us the tidbit. He said, look, this Chris Jans team does not defend the perimeter very well. Alabama made 15 threes in Starkville. Youngblood made 7. Well, Youngblood made 7 more last night. And he said if Alabama makes 10 threes or more, which was a lot more, he's like, Mississippi State will likely get blown out. The key stat for Mississippi State, Steve, is when they've given up 10 or more threes, they're now 2-9. When they've given up less than 10 threes, they're 17-0.
Wow.
So,
I mean, there it is.
Yeah.
Is this Alabama team better than the number 1 overall seed that they got, what was that, 22-23 a handful of years ago? Is this a better Crimson Tide basketball team than the one that got the number 1 overall seed?
It's deeper, but I don't think it's better right now. I will see how the next 2 weeks go, because again, when Brandon Miller was healthy through the SEC tournament and you had Noah Clowney and all those guys, it was a better defensive team, and they were the number 1 overall seed. I still think Brandon's groin injury is what cost them to lose that game against San Diego State, because Brandon couldn't be Brandon. He was stationary. He was a jump shooter. He couldn't get to the rim. But if Darion Reed can come back from injury, they can work him back in. What we've seen out of Aiden Sherrill, we saw some stuff last night. And then, with the way they played, and they've moved LeBaron back to the point, they've moved Sears off the ball. Here's the one caveat, though, and I asked Nate Oates about it last night to end the press conference, because to me, the last 2 or 3 games I've watched them, Steve, I'm a big body language person. I watch players, and just Grant Nelson has looked hesitant. He's looked hesitant to pull the trigger from 3 when they're backing off of him. He hasn't been driving the ball to the rim with as much ferocity. Now, he did make a couple of rim runs last night where he was able to take a feed and throw one down, but he hasn't looked like himself offensively. And I think, Nate Oates, as I asked him, I said, Coach, coaching is psychology and teaching. So they've unlocked Mark Sears. Now they've got to figure out a way to get Grant Nelson going again fully. And he showed some flashes last night in the second half, but I still thought, he was just struggling on offense, and they've got to get him going. If they do, this is a deeper team. I mean, they can shoot it all over the place. And Youngblood he looked like a conference player of the year last night from another league. Okay. He shot it that well, and he's really getting comfortable. And remember, he's only been in the lineup since mid-December. So
that's right.
I do think if they can continue to improve defensively and get healthy and get guys confidence, can they be better than that team? Yes, they can. And then the other caveat is the SEC. I know this was only 3 years ago, but the SEC is a lot tougher now than it even was then. I mean, it's brutality personified. Your Dogs last night, heck, that's what everybody was watching on Press Row. Are they going to blow it? Are they going to blow it?
So I was fully expecting this, by the way. As Georgia was up by 26 in the first half, and then all of a sudden Florida got to within, I think, 8 with 2 to go. Yeah. And I said, oh, boy, here we go.
Well, we were watching
they made their free throws.
They did. We were watching the last 3 minutes, and then when Georgia blew the lead and Florida got up 2, I thought, they've blown it. But then Blue Cane makes a 3, and we had to tell Nate Oates, because he was like, well, Florida, they were down 25 in the first half, but I think they got it within 2, and a couple of us spoke up. No, Coach, they got the lead. They got the lead. And then we're like, yeah. And so, but then, Georgia comes back and wins it. And now they're actually – some think they're back in the tournament. So that was the kind of swing it was.
Joe Lenardi had them like first 4 out, even going in.
I think Georgia still has some work to do. That's only the 5th conference win for the Dogs this year. But
That's all right, Drew. You know how to bring him back down to life.
What? Let me guess. They're playing. They're playing the Auburn Tigers. No, I'm kidding. But
No, you just say happy 2nd and 26th day.
Oh, I'm not doing that. This is basketball for crying out loud.
Well, Carl Ravitch was in the building.
That's right. Well,
so,
You can let him do it. Carl Dimwich.
Drew loves Carl Ravitch. That's one of his favorite play-by-play guys.
Well, you know how when we were kids, we were all kids, guys, in 1985, and the A team was at their zenith. Well, what you call Jimmy Dykes and Carl Ravitch is the D team, because that's what they are. They're horrendous.
So also last night on the SEC Network, Tennessee, I thought, struggled against LSU.
They did.
I mean,
they were flat, it looked like. I mean, I didn't see much of it, but the score, the way they played, certainly they were probably
a struggle.
They were probably looking ahead to Alabama.
It was a 3-point game at halftime. Do you think that's where I was going to go?
Well, I think probably so.
It's still a road game, so
I still think Alabama's got a better shot at Tennessee though than at Auburn, because Tennessee does struggle offensively at times, Steve. They're not a great offensive team. They are very tough at home, but I don't subscribe to the theory that Alabama can't deal with the physicality, because they've beaten Tennessee in the past under Nate Oates. They've beaten Houston multiple times. They've played against physical teams and beaten them before. So I don't buy that they can't deal with the physicality. I think they can beat Tennessee. I think they're deeper than Tennessee. But they've got to be able to contain Zakai Ziegler. They've got to do a good job on Chaz Lanier. I mean, he's an outstanding shooter, but I think Alabama can win that game. And I said this on Talking Ball this morning. I still say this is a brutal 3-game stretch. I mean, you're playing. I don't know if I've ever remember a team playing 3 top 5, top 6 teams in the country to end the regular season in a row. So if Alabama could get 2 of them, if they could protect the home floor against Florida, and that was a huge win for Alabama last night, and they got the help from your dogs, because with the Gators losing, Alabama has a legit shot now, very good shot, in my opinion, to finish second in the SEC if they take care of business. So if they could split Auburn and Tennessee, and then if they could beat Florida, then they're going to finish second, and I think they're going to have a number 1 seed locked up even before the SEC tournament, and they'll certainly have that double bye and be in the bracket opposite Auburn. And Alabama and Auburn have not played in the SEC tournament finals since the Tigers beat the Tide in 1985 in Birmingham, when Sonny Smith saved his job.
Okay, and you mentioned Tennessee. Just to show you how hot and cold they can be, Chaz Lanier was on fire Saturday at Texas A&M.
Right.
Had a rough night last night. I mean, they are very up and down.
Ziegler was the leading scorer, I believe, last night.
Yeah, they're just up and down.
Yep.
But I think Tennessee still has a shot at climbing up to a number 1.
Oh, they do. They got a lot to play for as well. Right now, Lenardi has them as a 2. Okay, so he has Florida a 2 and Tennessee a 2, but both Florida and Tennessee still have very legit shots at 1 seeds, but Alabama does as well. And right now, Alabama is still on the 1 line, and so they got some help that they needed, and they've played better in the last 2 games. But again, it's going to come down to the simple fact: can they get one of those? I mean, sure. Of course, if they win all 3 of them, then heck, I mean, Alabama could be the number 1 team in the country, because if you beat Auburn on the road, that's the kind of push you would get. You would be in conversation for the number 1 overall national seed, because I think both Alabama and Auburn should be considered over Duke, because the ACC is a sad sack league. It's about as bad as their football conference.
Boy, the start of the Duke Miami game was just awful.
Drew, did you guys see what Mike Krzyzewski said the other day? And Rick Pitino backed him up, Drew.
I didn't.
That he believes the ACC should merge with the Big East.
Interesting.
And he thinks they should absorb each other, because the ACC, to your point,
Big East is better conference.
Because he says the basketball in the ACC is okay, but if they could find a way to merge with the Big East, and they could actually become
how many teams would that be? That would.
I don't know, but Rick Pitino was on board with it as well.
Interesting.
A lot of teams.
I would have to get rid of Cal and Stanford, though. Goodbye. You don't need to be in this league, bro. We don't need to be flying across country. Go with Oregon State and Washington State and find something, dog. That's what I'd have to tell them.
Our weekly conversations with Drew DeArmond brought to you by Environmental Comfort Systems. You can check them out, especially during the springtime when it's hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. You need to get your AC unit checked out by the fine folks at Environmental Comfort Systems. You can check them out at envcomfort.com. So now that we are kind of diving in a little bit more to this, what do you think about the matchup now that both Alabama and Tennessee are done with their midweek games? We can focus on that. Of course, Auburn plays tonight. We'll talk about that here in a second. But Tennessee, Alabama should be fantastic on Saturday.
Well, I think it will be. I think Alabama's the better offensive team, but I think Tennessee, of course, under Rick Barnes, they're always going to be good defensively. But Alabama's performance the last two games, especially in this past one against Mississippi State, was very promising. We'll see if they can carry it over in Knoxville. And play well on the defensive end. I think the key is going to be the start of the game. I mean, there's only really been one road game all year where Alabama got punched in the face, and that was Missouri. And they just didn't seem like they were ready to play. But all the other ones they were, and they've actually played better on the road than at home. So, and Nate Oates has always kind of seemed to be able to find the right buttons to push, even though, I mean, each season he's had these rough patches, it seems like, but he always seems to be able to figure it out either before they get to the SEC tournament or after the SEC tournament. Hopefully with this group, with LeBaron Fallon returning to the point, moving Sears off the ball, hopefully getting Grant Nelson going. I mean, I like Alabama, and it'll be interesting. I think Tennessee will probably be the favorite, probably by 3 maybe. I would give them about a 3 or 4 point favorite, but I think I got a chance to go down to the last 2 minutes. And if Alabama comes out with physicality and playing with purpose, then I think it's going to be a great basketball game. I certainly respect Rick Barnes. I respect Tennessee. They're going to be tough to beat inside Thompson Bowling Arena, but I do think that Alabama is going to have a good shot at it. And if you had to ask me, I'll just say this. Rick, at worst, Tennessee wants to play the game in the 70s. If Alabama can give the magic number for me for Alabama to get a win is 85 points. If they've scored 85 plus on the road, they're going to win in Knoxville, because that means that the pace is not Tennessee's. Alabama got it to their liking. Alabama probably defended pretty well and made Tennessee work. And then you got to make Tennessee work from behind, because, again, I don't think Tennessee is a great offensive team. And if you make them, fight uphill all day, then I think they got a good shot. But the key is going to be getting off to a good start.
Total of 4 games tip it up tonight in SEC basketball with Texas at Arkansas. Vanderbilt is at Texas A&M. Good luck to the Doors there. Even more so, good luck to Ole Miss as they are at Auburn, as that tips at 6. And then Kentucky at Oklahoma. That is to me, that's the sneaky good game tonight, Drew. Kentucky at Oklahoma. You don't think so?
I don't think so. Well, I guess Scott, he likes the Sooners to continue to fly under the radar. I haven't seen I did not check the availability report to see who's out, who's not for Kentucky. But
let me double check that.
But I'll just say this: Kentucky won with this lineup at Tennessee. Okay,
yep.
And they're still fully capable. They still played pretty well offensively against Alabama. I thought Oklahoma would probably put their best half of the season together to win this past Saturday against Mississippi State. Because I think they scored 59 points in the Noble Center over there on the campus of Oklahoma, but Lloyd Noble Center. But I don't know, man. I just got a funny feeling Kentucky's going to get up off the mat. I know they're pessimistic, but see, they also have – this could be a good week for Kentucky if they could steal this game, because then you've got cash money or house money, whatever you want to say, when you bring Auburn into, Rupp Arena. You're not expected to win, but if you do, you could go up a seed line or two, So to me, if they could get some confidence, win at Oklahoma, then maybe they could give Auburn a run for their money. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to beat Auburn, but it is Rupp Arena. They do shoot it well, and we'll see. I mean, I will say this, though. It's probably the least confident that I've ever heard Kentucky. Talking to David Sisk on the show this week, the folks around the program, or at least that cover it, were not confident at all that they could, and this is in Rupp Arena, beat Auburn. Right. So that should tell you the respect and the level that that Auburn is playing at.
Lamont Butler is listed as probable tonight.
Look out.
Jackson Robinson also listed as probable tonight.
I'm
And
sorry,
Kerr,
Scott. I like me some Wildcats. If them
That's
two's
what I'm
playing.
saying. I wasn't convinced. He said it was. I'm thinking that
I think it'll be a very competitive game, but I do like Kentucky.
I know Oklahoma pulled off a surprise.
Yeah,
they did.
But I just don't see them being able to do it again.
At least they're at home.
Even
that is
Kentucky is the better team.
Yes.
Well, and I think
Kentucky
even
is the
banged
road
up,
favorite by 3. By the way,
yeah, even banged up, I still like their chances against an Oklahoma team.
Well, and I'll just say in Bud Walton Arena, I think it's lose or leave town. Okay, everybody's put Cal in, but Cal's got to win this game. They can't lay a turd and lose to Texas after beating them on the road. They've got to sweep them. And I think the magic number for Scott and I were looking at schedules, but the magic number for Calipari down the stretch is he needs to get to 19 wins in the regular season. If they're 19-12, and I think that Scott and I were figuring up it'd be 8-10 in the SEC, then I think they're getting in. And they'd get in instead of Texas, because I've been looking at Texas, but I was looking at that until they laid the turd against South Carolina. And then I was like, forget Texas. So, because we all saw what Missouri did to the can of Pringles last night. It was a bunch of crumbs, 101-71.
By the way, Auburn lists Chad Baker-Mazara as a game-time decision for tonight's game against Ole Miss. There'd be no decision for me, but, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm not Bruce Pearl with that can of nuts.
Well,
that wears
I'm
jersey
sorry.
number 10.
Look, man, but Auburn's a deep team. They won with Jonah.
Yeah.
Something tells me that Chris Moore or somebody is going to step up, man, and they're gonna and they're still going to win even if he doesn't play. If they decided to hold him out because they wanted to have him available at Rupp, and they're going to trust the energy of their home crowd. But I will say, they better get, Padula, the guard play, Malik Dia, who is the big for Ole Miss. They're very capable.
That's right.
I mean, in years past, Ole Miss has given Bruce Pearl some problems, but I just don't see it this year. I think Auburn's on a mission. We talked to Brian Matthews this week, and I didn't think this at the start of the year.
Yes, I heard plenty about the Keith's red sauce.
Yeah, and it's very, very good, by the way.
It's very good. Have you not?
Have you not had any yet,
No, I have not had any red sauce.
Oh,
man. I've not.
Oh, my. You can find it at your local Publix or Piggly Wiggly's.
And I found some on my front porch thanks to B-Matt. You know what I'm saying?
Are we talking about Uncle Pete's red sauce?
Yeah.
If you're looking at
Yeah,
it just
Brian,
went into
look
my
it up.
Instacart. It'll be at my
Very
house when I
good,
get
Brian.
home.
Are you ordering some?
It's going to be my Instacart right now. It's going to be at my house. when I
Uncle
get home.
Keith's red sauce. You can get it in regular or hot.
I would want
Brian,
both.
Okay, first of all, it shows up in a mason jar, so that's a plus.
Yeah, it's in
and it's
Mason
made
jar.
in Alabama.
It's made in Opelika, Brian.
Yes.
Plus 2 and 3.
Yes.
Okay.
And it is so good.
Because that is my favorite region for barbecue.
Yeah, it's absolutely good. It's good, man. And the hot is spicy. And even the mild is a little spicy, but it's really good. Really good flavor. It's good on biscuits, gravy biscuits, regular biscuits. Scott has
good
it with
on
mozzarella sticks.
Yep, I love it on mozzarella sticks. I love it with my eggs.
I really didn't mean to open up this can of worms.
Hey, man, we talk about food all the time on our show.
By the
We
way,
didn't mean to hijack yours.
but by the way, next time you guys go to Auburn, take 20 minutes out of your way, go to 13th Street Barbecue.
13th Street Barbecue.
13th Street Barbecue in Livonia.
Well, I got a place for you here in next to Lipscomb. I mean,
I married a Lipscomb grad. I probably know it.
Yeah, man. I guess I need to have the grits, man. This grit casserole or whatever they had.
Oh, that grits casserole. Oh, my
That-
gosh.
In the early days, there was a date, man, and I can guarantee we had to waddle out of there. It was so good.
Wow.
So Edley's Barbecue is
Edley's.
where we went.
Okay.
But I will tell you that another coach said, well, I wouldn't send you to a chain restaurant. I'd send you to a local restaurant But, that's the kind, little ribs back and forth that we're going to have here tonight between John Schulman and Lenny Acuff.
Well, I mean, you're in Nashville. You need to go to Fat Mo's.
Hey, we broke it to Shulman. Remember, Steve, we found that outstanding Italian restaurant on our way back.
That's right. And he has visited. Because there was 2 locations, the place we went to, and another one in Conway.
I think I ate 4 loaves of bread that night.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
The pasta was so friggin' good. I can tell you
fresh.
that. It was fresh. Al dente, is that what the term they use?
All right, Drew.
He sounds wide awake now.
I got 4 hours of sleep. 4, at least 4.
Wow. You were going to be awake at 2 a.m. tonight, aren't you?
I don't know. But see, here's probably not, though, because I got to drive to Birmingham tomorrow to try to watch, the Spring Garden ladies make history here. I want to do that. I want to at least spend one day over in Birmingham, And hey, by the way,
you want to watch the Central Phoenix game?
Not exactly, but I probably will. It'll be a little bit melancholy.
For those that don't know, Central Phoenix is playing some team called Hoover.
Yeah, some team called Hoover that got lucky and beat Huntsville 63-60. So congratulations to the Bucks. They're an outstanding team. They made the plays down the stretch. Huntsville, we were honored to do the game on 97.7 Zone. It's a great high school basketball game.
It really was.
I mean, I think it's the 2 best teams in the state. No disrespect to anybody else, but I just felt like it was. And it should be a good game, though. I mean, Central Phoenix City has had an outstanding year under Charles Burkett, the former Hoover coach. They were ranked number 2 in the state behind Hoover. Huntsville somehow was ranked 3rd. But again, we'll see. I think the winner of that game very likely wins state. I think Florence has done an amazing job under Dylan Burleson. He and Bill
what
Mullen.
A story that is.
They're playing Fairhope, and I think Florence has got a great shot to get to the state championship game. But again, Huntsville beat Florence earlier in the year. I think Huntsville proved their and then I thought they proved their medal against a Hoover team without 2 of their better players, one of them being Riggs, a.k.a. J.D. Gossett for half a quarter, and Eli Stapler, who were both injured. And they still came back and had a chance to beat a very, very good Bucks team. So, yeah, I'll probably try to check some of that out tomorrow. And, of course, check out Spring Garden, who's going up against the Brilliant Tigers. Looking forward to being over there in Birmingham and taking in some of that action. Should be some good stuff. And by the way, if the streak finally ended today, shout out to Hazel Green. I know they didn't get the result they wanted. Gut-wrenching double overtime. I did, before I fell asleep for 4 hours, I did watch a lot of the second half of that game and the 2 overtime.
Could have watched it in the car.
Could have watched it with us.
I mean, Hazel Green, they had multiple opportunities. It just wasn't meant to be. They played extremely hard. They had already lost one time to that Park Crossing team who had only lost 1 game all year and I think been wire to wire number 1 in 6A. But, what a run for Tim Miller, 7 in a row. Nearly gets to a chance for an 8th. I mean, that's an amazing run right there. But again, tip your hat to Park Crossing, and they got it done. And so now we'll be following some other storylines. There's still a lot of North Alabama teams down there. Hey, Plainview upset Fairfield last night in boys. Shout out to them for getting to the 4A finals. So there's a lot of great basketball going on down there in Birmingham.
Well, right now I see Lenny Acuff talking to Max Schulman over off to my left. This is going to be a lot of fun here tonight. I'm sorry you're not with us, but I fully understand why. But still, nonetheless, I will bring your credential back to you so you at least have that.
There you go, man. Appreciate that. I can add it to my growing, collection of credentials. Now I have one for Lipscomb Bison.
Thank you very much, Drew DeArmond. Let's go ahead and take our first time out. Walking you up to the Bison taking on the Bears here tonight, and some A-Sun basketball will continue.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Been thinking about what kind of truck you need to pull that big boat or shiny Airstream Classic? I'd like to invite you to feel the torque of an F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It combines the forces of gas and electric power for over 11,000 pounds of towing muscle. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, where you can test drive over 200 new F-150s. And you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on a 24 XLT 4x4 with the Power Boost engine. Save over $13,000 on F-150 today. On your way to a growing family or already have one? Then a Woody Anderson Ford Expedition is your ticket to ride. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 24 Expedition at Woody Anderson Ford. $12,000 off Expedition. And there's more too. Get up to $8,000 off MSRP on the Agile and Sporty Escape ST line. And with a versatile 2024 Edge, you're looking at up to $10,000 off MSRP only at Woody Anderson Ford. Bring on the savings. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you ready to be part of something bigger? Here at Qualys, we don't just support our national security and space programs. We fuel them with cutting-edge technology. From defending our nation to pushing the boundaries of space, Qualys is where innovation meets impact. Join a team driven by purpose, powered by critical technologies, and committed to making a difference. Your skills, your passion, our mission, where your career and your future takes flight. Apply now at qualys-corp.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Really appreciate Drew DeArmond for stopping by the studio after his power nap. We are live here. That is Scott Tyson, Steve Moulton back here with you. Yes, and by the way, we're on WZZN TV right now, and both the Bison and the Bears are warming up out on the court here at Allen Arena as we are 72 minutes away from tip-off between the Bears and the Bison, and a game that you'll be able to hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Really appreciate the fine folks here at Lipscomb for opening up the doors to us, had the availability, as well as a big thank you to the sponsors as well. Qualys, you just heard in that last stop set right there. Also Triad Properties, Brian Bellamy, our local State Farm agent as well, kind enough to be a sponsor for this event here tonight.
And they all have ties to 2 individuals, Lenny Acuff and John Schulman, somehow, some way. And either their kids played for Lenny Acuff or they played for Lenny Acuff in some ways. I mean, it's amazing the ties between the two and the ties between the programs now. It's it's something special because, I mean, you go all the way back to Central Arkansas's days in Division II, and we looked it up, remember, about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, UAH has played Central Arkansas when they were a member of the Division II ranks.
That's right.
And then now, of course, Lenny and his ties to UAH, and it's crazy.
It really is. But we got here at 11:30, and then as soon, it's amazing how we were helped in. I'll say the first go around, and then as soon as we walk in, the very first person we see after the women's team got done shooting was Lenny Acuff. And he just strolled right on over and said, let's take the dime tour.
Come on, let's go. Let's show you around and this
didn't
just show us the building, showed us campus,
the thoroughfare,
showed us everything.
Yeah.
And then also proceeded to tell us that everything else is and then I forgot.
What's that?
Jamie Gillum. Gotta mention him.
Right. Yeah, Jamie.
Former SID at UAH, was the SID up here at Lipscomb at one time as well. So cannot forget that. Sorry, Jamie, I did.
A lot of ties to the program as well. I think Andy Blackston as well. His wife works here on campus.
Yep.
And of course, he's over at Brentwood Academy. I did not realize, and the only time that I've been here, I came up on the south side, didn't really go through Nashville to get here, and did not realize how close Lipscomb Academy. I mean, it is. We drove through Lipscomb Academy here today to get to Lipscomb University. So
and I got to remember to say Bisons. Jamie just corrected me and said it's not Bison, it's Bisons.
So Bisons.
Bisons. That's the former SID coming out in them.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yes, Bisons. Yes. So,
one thing I'd like to know, guys, since you guys are at Lipscomb and talk to Coach Acuff, ask him what he thought of the Battle of the Boulevard. Every year they have a big rivalry with Belmont.
He mentioned
that.
close.
It was a 1-point game last time in November, and it's always a huge game. So I just
as big of a deal as that is, and I've talked to him about that in the past. A bigger deal is the university president, and she'll be sitting up in that box right below Section 104, right above Section 104. She wants an NCAA tournament berth, and so does Lenny. But
he said that in a good way.
Yeah,
she wants to. Yeah. Basketball is the sport here.
Basketball fan, and they've been once in 2018, but 2019 they were kind of the odds-on favorite and didn't win it. But nonetheless, this is a one-bid league, and it just kind of is what it is. But at least if you're a fan of Lenny Acuff, as I am, and I know you are as well, there is a real opportunity with a win here tonight and maybe one or two wins in the conference tournament, which would begin on Monday, potentially on this court as the top seed hosts all throughout the tournament, that they would be a decent lock for the NIT.
Yeah,
not the NCAA.
In the past, the way the NIT worked was if you won your regulars for your mid-majors and even all of the other conferences, well, if you won your regular season title and then you went into your conference tournament and lost, a lot of these one-bid leagues, you were automatically guaranteed a spot in the NIT. And I think it's this year, or it started last year, was the first year that the NIT revamped itself.
Yeah.
And said, okay, we're going to take away those automatic berths to the NIT for mid-majors. We're not going to we're doing away with that. And so Lenny Acuff or Tony Pujol and the UNA Lions, whoever is coming out on top in this thing.
Yeah.
And it would come down to whoever wins the tiebreakers. That would be your regular, that's who they get the crown to. They would pick up the automatic berth, but not anymore. So if Lenny is feeling good about Lipscomb's chances, Coach Tony Pujol has to feel good about UNA's chances as well if they were the champions to get that NIT bid.
Yeah. Again, we are going to carry the game here tonight for the Lipscomb Bisons, taking on the Central Arkansas Bears, coming up here tonight over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Let's go ahead and take our final time out. We are scheduled to get a visit from Cade Smith. The athletic director at UAH is also making his way up here to Nashville, Tennessee. So hopefully we'll be able to hear from the UAH AD next.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution for your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Clouds begin to increase heading into this Wednesday night. Low temperatures will be falling into the lower 50s for the overnight. A few isolated showers could be possible early Thursday morning for some of us. Majority of us going to be staying dry. We'll begin the day cloudy, becoming mostly sunny by late afternoon. High temperatures expected to warm into the low 60s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN. The Zone.
We are your home for March Madness.
the year. Fortunes at 86 on top.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Back inside Allen Arena, walking you up to tip-off between the Lipscomb Bisons and the Central Arkansas Bears. Coach, I'm still getting used to that.
We're laughing because we got corrected.
Jamie Gilliam
corrected us on Bisons.
He told you how it's actually okay to do it. You know, I went to Harding, who has the same issue and the same need to explain all the time. So I'm familiar.
It's great to see you up here first and foremost,
Good to
Coach.
see you.
As neat as this is, let me start off with the softball showcase. Scott and I did that game last week. That was so cool to see that event and what Toyota Field did to transform and feature softball the way they did.
Unbelievable. The things they've done, I guess, a couple of years in a row now, or whenever they did the football thing. But what they can do out there is pretty incredible. That's one of our, Chuck's one of our alums, Charlie on the grounds crew and stuff out there, and he's really, really good. So we're, of course, proud of him. But just that
was impressive.
What a cool thing just for our area, to have all those there. And then, we got to host a lot of events on campus too. So we had some big school, Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Jacksonville State, a bunch of people, UNA, different people playing games all around Huntsville area. So really, really cool to be a part of. And I think what I just told them, we're just glad to get to be there and be included in such a cool event.
Yeah, what does that mean for your program, a Division II program? They bring in the likes of Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, Alabama, Jack State. I mean, they're bringing all these other ones in, and they make a point to carve a day out and a game out for a Division II program to play there.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it just says a lot. First off, I mean, it's not like any coach was there that doesn't know less, right? And so, what she's done for college softball, regardless of level, right? Especially in our area, and so I think that's a good testament to her. But also, it's good for us. Like it's kids that are coming there, aspiring college softball players coming to watch, and they see that we're included, and maybe that doesn't work out in one of these other places, or they decide, hey, this is a cool place to live. Maybe it's we got a chance at some of those kids in this day and age. Maybe some of those kids that are playing on our field that weekend that decide they're going to transfer. You're more than likely to go somewhere that you've heard of or been before, and so maybe there's an opportunity there. But I think overall, it's just it's important for us to be just part of kind of Team Huntsville, right? On when they're bringing stuff to Huntsville and Madison and our county and everything, for us to be kind of a part of that group that gets to do that. That's important for us to do that, and they're always really good about including us.
Had Mick Hedgesmith on yesterday, and the reason I go there is because I asked him, your team's on a heater. I'm not letting a secret out of the bag. Right. Who have you talked to? And, of course, the guy who played for at Belmont was brought up, but also Les Studeman he mentioned going down and talking to her about how to deal with this long winning streak.
Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes, you can spend a lot of money going all around the country trying to do professional development and learn things, and you can also spend about 10 steps in our building and go down and learn from people that have been there, right? And so, and that's been the case for a long time, and it's still the case. And sometimes sometimes there's things you may learn places that don't really apply to your certain situation. But if you've had to recruit and do things for our institution, regardless of sport, you kind of get it, and so you might be able to learn some things on that. So.
Is tonight a first then for UAH to see two coaches move up to the Division I level, face each other?
It's got to be, right?
I
don't know what else it would. I mean, there may have been
that he's looking at me.
Well, no, I mean,
I would assume so.
It shows the level of success, and it builds on that level of success that we were talking about.
I bet that there have been
assistant coaches that have obviously met each other. I mean, just think of D-Rock, and Lenny from multiple times. And, and I assume that has happened with some of Les's assistants that would have gone against Van at times. And I think of probably baseball with former people that have gone against Bobby Pierce and things. It has to have happened. But head coaches, I don't know. I think this would have to be it. So that's a big reason why we're here. But honestly, next Tuesday is going to be pretty cool. That's right. Next Tuesday, something's going to happen I've never seen happen on campus, and that is a doubleheader on Super Tuesday.
You know, we have had it recently that you may not remember. So COVID year, we did host both.
Okay.
And you might remember because both teams actually that year qualified for regionals.
That's right.
And neither one got to play, right?
That's right.
So I guess that's Shulman's first year. I guess it was. Wasn't it? But the women, they beat Montevallo on a last second shot. I think Alexis Woods actually made the shot, and she's still there, right? So,
I don't remember that.
You know, so we kind of had to play ourselves in, but the teams were not having the levels of success that both programs are having now. In order for this game to, it feels different than even at that time. So big day. We're excited about it, and in some ways it's just another midweek game as far as the timing and the fans and the parking passes and the varsity rooms and that stuff going to be there. But in other ways it's way different because it's postseason basketball, and we've had pretty good success on Super Tuesday historically, and we want to continue that. But man, who knows who we're even going to play? There's so much left to.
There's like 3 or 4 teams still in that mix.
Correct. And that's what makes this time of year fun, though. It's just how many people still have a chance to get in. And it's been a pretty fun year.
Well, honestly, the last couple of weeks, though, I've seen other teams getting up to play the Chargers. Because you're playing a top 5 team in the country.
Look, we went to Montgomery or Mississippi College, and they reserved their pep band for the biggest game of the year. They reserved their halftime entertainment for the biggest game of the year,
and it was
UAH.
Yeah, well, there's a guy that I just saw walk across the court here that used to say you earn the right to play in big games.
Oh yeah,
right. That's something that I think our kids understand, and I hope they're able to appreciate when that's the case. Whenever you go to someone else's place and they're treating you like, you're the best team they've ever played. Like, I hope that's something that they appreciate. If they don't now, they will later. Right.
In terms of tickets for Tuesday, how can folks get tickets?
Yeah, so right now we've got everything is pretty much season ticket holders have until Friday evening or Friday end of business to kind of get theirs, and we've already sold probably. 60% of the lower bowl probably has already been taken care of on that. And so then they'll open up and there'll be some limited reserve seats. And then, of course, upstairs will be pretty available. So those will all be going live here pretty quick. We should have some stuff going out tomorrow, like from our website and socials on how to do all that.
Very good. Can you stick around one more segment with me?
Yep.
All right. That's one way to rope a guest.
There you go.
One more
Get
segment.
him in the chair and don't let him leave.
That's it.
Just a 3-minute timeout here, a Sports Center timeout. We'll be right back.
Been thinking about what kind of truck you need to pull that big boat or shiny Airstream Classic? I'd like to invite you to feel the torque of an F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It combines the forces of gas and electric power for over 11,000 pounds of towing muscle. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, where you can test drive over 200 new F-150s. And you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on a 24 XLT 4x4 with the Power Boost engine. Save over $13,000 on F-150 today. On your way to a growing family or already have one? Then a Woody Anderson Ford Expedition is your ticket to ride. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 24 Expedition at Woody Anderson Ford. $12 grand off Expedition. And there's more too. Get up to $8,000 off MSRP on the Agile and Sporty Escape ST line. And with a versatile 2024 Edge, you're looking at up to $10,000 off MSRP only at Woody Anderson Ford. Bring on the savings. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sports Center. I'm Nick DeLuca. Busy day at the NFL Combine in Indy. Offseason QB questions continue. The Niners are trying to get theirs solved. GM John Lynch telling the media today the team has started negotiations with quarterback Brock Purdy on a new contract, and the team is focused on making him their quarterback for the long haul. Purdy threw for just under 4,000 yards and 20 touchdowns last season. Lynch also said that the Niners plan to honor former All-Pro receiver Deebo Samuel's request for a fresh start this offseason. The Rams, meanwhile, figuring out their next steps on quarterback Matthew Stafford. The team gave him permission to understand his value last week. Will he stay in L.A. or be elsewhere? ESPN's Dan Graziano says the Rams aren't the only team trying to figure it all out.
It's something that the Rams and Stafford and the teams that are interested in him would like to get resolved as soon as possible because he's the top option for some teams. You know, I think the New York Giants are definitely a team to watch if Stafford and the Rams can't come to an agreement and he becomes available in trade.
Graziano on SportsCenter. Meanwhile, Saints general manager Mickey Loomis indicated the team plans to stick with quarterback Derek Carr for 2025. Loomis saying the team believes they can win with Carr and new head coach Kellen Moore taking over. Carr threw for 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns in 10 games around injury last season, while the league is considering a change to regular season overtime rules where both teams don't get a chance to possess the ball.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday. As the Combine rolls on, I'll give you every NFL team's dream draft target. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here inside Allen Arena. Tomorrow night, by the way.
Yeah.
Ending the regular season tomorrow night in Livingston, Alabama, as the Chargers take their 26-game streak on the road to take on the Tigers of West Alabama. They're playing for a lot tomorrow as well.
They're in the tournament.
Seeding.
Yeah, what seeding they're going to be.
The athletic director for the University of Alabama in Huntsville, Cade Smith, kind enough to give us a little bit more time here as we battle it out between two former men's coaches. But I wanted to talk a little indoor track and field.
Sure.
I mean, how impressive is what they accomplished?
Well, I tell you what, those coaches, they work so hard and they've had success in the past. Ever since the GSC started the indoor championship, they've not won one. And so to get that championship last week in a fairly dominant fashion, actually, because I think Lee's probably won it every year that we've had it. And so that's
I noticed Sam is once again on the leaderboard.
That's right. Yeah, he's great, and he's already qualified for indoor nationals, which happens in Indianapolis. In fact, it happens roughly the same time as regionals begin for basketball. And so I think right now
it's festival year.
That's right. It's festival year.
See?
And so good job, guys. Let's keep up with the D2
I will
festival.
be there. No, I will be there, and I will be.
Are you doing swimming? Are you doing?
Yeah. So we will arrive on Monday the 10th.
Yep.
And then we have a session.
Meaning him.
Yes. So we will have a session on Tuesday. We get started in the water on Tuesday, but all the athletes and stuff are coming in on Sunday.
That's a cool thing.
I got my handbook and now whatever emailed to me today about all the stuff. It is an amazing
polo
event.
on for a reason.
I see that. No, you're all set. That's randomly, because this is what we're talking about. Randomly, I was up in Indy for a committee meeting. I guess last summer when they were doing the U.S. Olympic trials in Lucas Oil Stadium for the swimming.
Yeah.
And we were just walking downtown. And somebody was like, "Who are y'all?" And I was like, "We're just the committee." You're like, "Do y'all want to go to the thing tomorrow or whatever?" I was like, "We're all leaving." I said, "But if you can get us in now." And so they got all of us in. We got to see, Kayla Ledecky swim at the end. And in Lucas Oil, it's just Indy does a good job with cool stuff like that. So it'll be the festival will be good. So
I mentioned Sam because he was obviously a nominee last year.
Sam Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Is he probably the best distant runner at UAH? I know they've had some phenomenal runners, but man, he gets better every time he takes to the course or the track. Or
he's been All-American in multiple events and was on the podium in multiple things at outdoor, and of course his cross country's been great. So I would be leaving somebody out if I said yes, but he's got to be close.
Yeah, I mean, Blaze Benz back in the day.
Yeah, Blaze going in our Hall of Fame.
Blaze was phenomenal. Yeah.
And we've had some good ones, but Sam has definitely been something for us. He's good young man, and he's one we like to find 5 or 6 extra years of eligibility like they seem to at other divisions, but I don't think it's going to work for Sam. So he's really been something for us.
Well, we are in the land of Diego Pavia.
Well, that's
here.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I mean, we can find you some eligibility around the
Sam actually probably has eligibility, just not with us. That's actually probably true.
And you bring up your Hall of Fame class.
Yep.
You announced it a little bit ago.
Yep.
Just let everybody know who's going in. Some big names.
Now I would be lying if I'm thinking of it. Steve may have to pull it up. So
hang on.
I know Blaze is going in.
Right. Jamie. Is it?
It's Joe
and Jeff
and let's see. It's the 2 oldest ones.
Jason.
Joe and Jason are going in.
Yeah.
Okay. Smith from that and. Coach Pierce is going in, former baseball
Bobby
coach
Pierce.
who we've already mentioned.
Yep.
And let's see. Now it's been a few weeks. It's on my list to send out information to them next week. Mary Kelly from softball and Kristen Spencer, Spearman now. Yep. And then, of course, Julie Wochin, who just retired last year, one of our longtime administrators and former coaches. So, solid group. That's a fun event. And, Coach Acuff went in recently, and
what Bobby Pierce did to the baseball squad. I have a particular fondness of a trip out to Abilene, Texas.
Okay,
we're there for the regional, but that was a fun team. I think it was 03.
Probably so. Yeah, that sounds right. Now, of course, and then him to go on and have success, and he was there. He was at our banquet last year. He introduced a former player. So it's just it's been a good thing for us. You always want to honor those who deserve honor, and we're trying to do a better job of that. And it's a good opportunity to see some former Chargers as well.
All right, as an athletic director, this whole world has changed on Division I. What have you seen difference-wise in terms of being an athletic director on the D2 side of things?
I think for us, it's always just like, how is this going to impact us? Like, they send a lot of information on how it directly impacts Division I, and sometimes we kind of have to figure out how it impacts us. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it's like people ask all the time about NLI. I'm like, well, NLI is more likely to just make us lose somebody.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the world we live in at our level. And so,
I will tell you, I talked to 2 head coaches today that are nervous as all get out about a certain portal.
I'm sure that they are.
So
that, and then just with the stuff they're having to decide on opting in or out to the house settlement and everything that's going to happen there, those are things that don't really come to me. So my concerns are the same concerns. It's
I think that's a good thing.
How do we continue to resource people better? How do we continue to increase scholarship offerings, compensate our staff members better, and improve facilities, and try to make it something that people are interested in? And I think that I don't see that going away.
Are there any capital projects or anything on the horizon? Not in a year or two, or like kind of like a long term.
Well, I think we even have something within the year. I hope that we, we're getting really close to hopefully getting a track project started on campus, and we've got some work to do on that. But that's definitely the big thing. We've got to do some things to figure out some of our outdoor sports that are currently at Charger Park. We got to do some updates and try to help out our lacrosse program some more on some artificial turf. But the track thing is big, and we're getting close on figuring some stuff out there.
Well, they certainly, I know it was indoor, but they would certainly utilize a little bit of the outdoor as well.
No doubt. Yeah, it's all the same group, right? So it's all the same ones. And an indoor facility is not on the horizon, but we can get that outdoor track down. That'd be great.
Now, where would the ideal plan be to put an outdoor track?
Somewhere on the south end of campus, where we've got the most land available, and somehow tied into Charger Park. And so there's still options there, and probably some stuff that we got to work out and get some permission to share on. But somewhere on that end of campus is the goal.
Wow. So. And just to circle back here of this matchup, this is obviously very appealing for us.
Sure.
And just in terms of branding for us, this feels like a big deal just in terms of getting our name out there for the University of Alabama in Huntsville.
No, it's good. Every time either one of these guys are on TV or something, UAH ends up getting brought up. I say the same thing about Cheney at Auburn. They mention it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that because I think Cheney had a good experience. Obviously, Shulman and his, 5 years had a good experience. And, of course, we're still riding
22 years
the momentum of what Lenny got started, right? So it's just it's good for these guys that still care about, the programs that are left behind. And not every coach is going to think that way in the world, but they both do. And so for this, I'm sure they don't love coaching with each other, but for us, it's kind of neat.
It really is.
Yeah, so,
but it's also, I'm sorry, Scott.
You also got another good one.
No doubt. No,
Nick.
I think both coaches. I think we can go ahead and say
sharp.
well done.
And because of the jobs that some of these guys have been able to get, that helps when I'm trying to hire new coaches, right? If they want to come to UAH for 20 years, great. But if they want to be there for a few years and they think they've got this aspiration, then they may have that opportunity. And so that only helps us. So.
And for me, it's been a lot of fun to see a lot. I've been seeing former players trickle in more and more and more, and it's been so much. 26 in a row doesn't hurt. I know
that helps,
but it's a lot of fun.
No, for sure, and Mick does a good job of getting to know those guys, and he already had a connection with some of them.
Heard the alumni game went pretty well.
Yeah, that and they. Of course, they probably exposed some of our weaknesses, so we don't need all those things to get out. But he knows David Ivey. He played, AU stuff with Majette and all those. So having kind of those connections, that just easily connects with others. And so, we're really, really fortunate with the coaches that we've got, and we think we're a good place for them to be. So,
well, truthfully, I saw your name on the list out there. Yeah. That's why I bothered you. I can't thank you enough for hopping on.
No, happy to. Glad you guys are up here. This is cool.
Yeah, it really. This is awesome. Thank you so much for hopping on.
You bet. Have a good night, guys.
Let's go ahead and take our first time out, walking you up the tip-off between Lipscomb and Central Arkansas, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Phone calls 256-576-4977, the telephone number. I realize we've been rather guest heavy here on a Wednesday. A hot start for the Auburn basketball team as they are already up by 10 over the Ole Miss Rebels, 19-9 with 14 minutes left to go there. It's a 1-point game in College Station as Texas A&M leads it over Vanderbilt 14-13. And I see a certain ASUN score.
I do. I've got the North Alabama Queens game up, and I told you the first time Tony Pujol and company traveled to Charlotte, it was a close ball game, and obviously Queens getting a win there. Right now, 18-16, North Alabama on top, 11:24 left to go in the first half. And I'll tell you, Jakari Lane right now, 8 minutes, only 2 points. Tay Fields, +6 right now. He's got 8 points and 2 rebounds. So the former Lehigh Generals, 10 points of the 18 for UNA right now.
How cool is this right here? I mean, we're getting ready for 2 former UAH head coaches squaring off.
This is our fourth. This is my fourth Division I game. We did the Lipscomb Auburn game.
That's right.
We did UAH Auburn.
We did.
We did Middle Tennessee and Tennessee
the
women.
women's game. That's right.
And so this is impressive. I mean, this is impressive.
I know you were doing PA, but I did the Alabama-Memphis game.
Yeah.
I think that game ended about 20 minutes ago. That game took flipping forever What, 97 free throws, I think that was?
And I would not be surprised if Huntsville once again welcomes another Division I preseason exhibition game to the Von Braun Center this year. I would not be surprised if we see another game coming to Huntsville.
And, of course, Conference USA coming to Huntsville as well. And we will be front stage for that beginning on the 11th, which is a week from Tuesday, by the way.
And a big thank you to Joel Lamp, the sports guru for the Huntsville Visitors and Conventions
He's got to
Bureau.
work out just to tote that thing around.
He brought the trophy to the studio this morning for the morning show, and when he brought it in, it looked like he was having a hard time carrying it. It was like it was around his waist or whatever. I mean, he was lugging it. He puts it up on the desk in the studio, and I mean, it is heavy. And he said, well, here's the biggest paperweight. He says it weighs anywhere between 40 to 45, maybe 50 pounds.
I believe it because I shifted it a little. But, yeah, I believe all of that.
He says, watch closely when you watch it on CBS Sports Net, because that's where it'll be. He goes, when the winning team hosts the trophy up either on the women's or the men's side, watch them because they don't hold it up above their waist because it's very heavy. And so usually they get it to about waist level, and that's about all they can get.
Well, right now the Conference USA men's standings has Jacksonville State leading the way. Yeah, you're welcome, Brian Temple. 11-4 with the overall conference record, followed by Liberty at 10-4, MTSU's at 9-5, Kennesaw State, the Owls, they're at 8-7, and there's a couple other teams obviously struggling this year, but Jack State leading the pack.
Tomorrow night, Jack State and Liberty square off. So
That's
there'll be a big one right there. Yep.
Been a thorn in their side.
Well, it's been a thorn in whatever conference they've been in.
Well, think about it. Liberty, Lenny Acuff got a team to the ASUN finals.
First out of the gate
gets
against Liberty.
them in there. 40 minutes away from making the NCAA tournament. In the big dance was Lenny Acuff, and Liberty was rolling. And remember, this conference, if you are the number one seed, you get to play at home. Lenny Acuff and company had to go on the road pretty much the whole entire way. They go to Liberty in that, and they gave Liberty a run, but they just ultimately came up short. But that was not one of his better teams. Because remember, that was his first year, and he said what did he say? 7,000 points they lost when he got here. It was
almost 8,000.
Almost 8,000. It was the most in Division I history having to replace in one season, and they nearly parlayed that replacement guys, the rebuilding guys, to a NCAA tournament berth.
Plus, which we get notes. I mean,
this is.
I listen, nothing against Sam and the fine folks there at UAH, but if you're watching on WZZN TV,
look at this.
We have like
pages.
This
pages
is an
of
Encyclopedia Britannica of this game.
We're going to sound so smart.
Well, point spread's 19.5, so we may need all of these notes moving forward. But at the same time, if there's one thing I know about John Shulman, he is so good about talking down about his team.
Yes.
Although 8-22 is kind of cut and dry, it is what it is. But they have been playing better lately.
Well, here's the thing, and he told his team, and we can. I mean, there's a lot of things that we've learned today that stays between the lines on the court, but John Shulman told his team during shoot-around today, guys, look, you're playing with house money.
And it's true.
You're playing with house money. We already know we're in the tournament, and that being the ASUN tournament. They already know they're going to be the 10 seed. They already know they're going to be playing Stetson. I mean, there's no secret on what lies ahead for them. They already know they're playing it on Sunday. They just don't know where. But this game here, if you want to throw something on the wall and see if it sticks, do it. Because this for Lipscomb, it's a throwaway game. It's a game to learn and get better.
Yeah, to get ready for tournament basketball. Yes. But we are going to dive into it coming up next live here from Allen Arena here on campus of Lipscomb University. It's the Bisons taking on the Bears. Jamie, we'll be right back with pregame.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the